me somehow. So that was a myth. Reality was that most people hide the messy parts, so comparison is based on incomplete information. If I rest, myth. If I rest, I'm falling behind. I should keep pushing. Reality. Restores focus and mood. So skipping it often makes work slower and heavier. Myth. I should handle this alone. Asking is weakness. Reality. Stress shrinks problem solving. So talking early usually makes pressure easier to manage. After this exam, life will finally feel easier again. Reality. Relief is brief. The stack stays. So systems and boundaries matter beyond one milestone. Myth. If I am stressed, it proves I am doing enough today. Reality. Help is a skill, not a verdict, and early support prevents stress from compounding. Myth. Feeling bad means I am failing at life right now. Reality. Effort matters, but overload reduces quality, so smart pacing beats constant intensity. Stress loop. Social stress often feels hard to escape because one uncomfortable moment can trigger reactions that unintentionally set up the next one. Social trigger, exclusion, teasing, bullying, comparison, mixed signals, or sudden distance. Self doubt spike. Thoughts turn inward. What did I do? What's wrong with me? Am I enough? Self doubt spike. Thoughts turn inward. What did I do? What's wrong with me? Am I enough? Emotional flare. Shame, anxiety, anger, or numbness rises, often faster than it can be explained. Protective behavior, withdrawal, over pleasing, checking, overperforming, sarcasm, or acting unfazed. Misread by others. The behavior gets labeled as attitude, drama, coldness, clinginess, or ego. Social consequences. Distance grows, conflict escalates, trust weakens, and the next trigger arrives soon. What you can do, what youth can do this week. Small changes reduce load faster than big promises. So, here are 5 low friction moves you can use immediately if you have been feeling stressed. So, here's something about it. Lower the stakes on performance for 1 week. Pick a single process goal you can control in study or work. Treat outcomes as data and give yourself permission to learn without grading yourself. Set one simple screen boundary at home. Choose a short, shared, no phone window with whoever you live with and keep that time protected for rest, focus, or real conversation. Give yourself a fixed stop time. Fix a realistic sleep cutoff on 3 nights. Reduce one late night trigger and let your brain and body reset instead of stretching the day. Ask for support early, not after overload. Send one message to someone you trust, naming what feels heavy, and ask for a small check in or presence while you begin the task. Remove one avoidable source of pressure. Pause an optional commitment, mute a comparison heavy feed, or delay one non urgent decision, and use the freed time for recovery. Why young worked up professionals crack? Even before Sri Shetty gets out of bed, the day's to-do list starts vying for her attention. Her barely awake mind is already juggling what needs to be cooked, her schedule, and pending tasks from previous days. Together, these thoughts cause her to begin her day tired and anxious. A young digital marketing professional, Shree's mind keeps switching as she moves frequently between professional and personal roles. While the act of switching is invisible and barely perceptible, it leaves her feeling uneasy. Every time it happens, I feel like I'm neglecting something on the other side, she admits. Thoughts of unfinished tasks resurface when she is focused on other tasks, leading to self doubt. Over time, Shri has learned to recognize this pattern. I try my best to close as many loops as possible and switch to simpler tasks so that I don't get stuck, she says. This relentless tussle leaves her mentally cluttered, physically drained, and emotionally depleted by the end of the day. While she once attributed this to pressure, she now also recognizes the role of health conditions. PCOS and thyroid issues, for instance, are additional causes of stress for women. Most women you talk to daily are not completely themselves due to constant hormonal fluctuations. She says she is often overwhelmed. While some of it comes from her responsibilities, she admits some is self induced. We live with a constant feeling of being outperformed someone else, possibly because the internet always shows us people doing 100 times better than us. So we set unrealistic expectations for ourselves and end up feeling overwhelmed because of that, she says. Micro stress to melt down. Repeated micro stresses can stack over days and weeks, eventually leading to shifts first in focus, then energy, emotions, and finally behavior. Background buzz. Focus slips more easily than usual, and rest stops feeling fully restorative. You may feel mildly on edge with a low level urge to stay busy or distracted, and you start reaching for your phone more often in quiet moments. 2. Compression. Small tasks begin to feel heavier, and starting becomes harder than continuing. Tiredness shows up earlier in the day, patience thins, and you begin avoiding minor responsibilities, even while thinking about them constantly. 3. Cognitive drag. Thinking slows and forgetfulness rises with more brain fog and second guessing. Motivation dips, worry loops get louder, and you pull back from optional activities, social plans, or anything that requires extra effort. Spillover, conversations and instructions take more time to track, and sleep either breaks or stops helping. Emotions swing between irritability and numbness, and everyday frictions feel larger, so conflicts rise or avoidance becomes the default. 5. Tipping point. Concentration collapses and the body either shuts down or becomes agitated. You may blank out, panic, cry, or go flat. And responsibilities drop suddenly because capacity has been exceeded rather than because you didn't try. Read the signal, not the attitude. Before stress becomes a breakdown, it often disguises itself as habits people judge. So, here is a quick translator for what you might be seeing. What it looks like sudden irritability or snapping. What is may signal threat response, low emotional bandwidth, or constant pressure with no recovery time. Withdrawing from people or group chats. It signals fear of judgment, feeling left out already, or wanting safety while emotions settle. What it looks like procrastination or can't start inertia. What it may signal cognitive overload, perfection pressure, or difficulty choosing a first step when stakes feel high. What it looks like overworking and compulsive checking. What it may signal control seeking, under uncertainty, fear of making mistakes, or a belief that rest must be earned. What it looks like? Silence in class, meetings, or at home. What it may signal? Shut down from overwhelm, fear of saying the wrong thing, or a habit of staying invisible to avoid conflict. What it looks like? People pleasing, instant agreeing. What it may signal? Rejection anxiety, conflict avoidance, or a need to stay safe in relationships. What it looks like? Risky choices or sudden rule breaking. What it may signal? Escape seeking, pressure to fit in, or using intensity to interrupt numbness or stress. What it looks like? Drop in care for routines, drop in care for routines and basics. What it may signal? Energy collapse, sleep debt, or feeling stuck in a loop where effort no longer feels worth it.